Good afternoon, grade 8s and 9s. I'm continuing with the geometry worksheet. I'm now going on to figure number 2. Remember what I said to you in my previous videos? Your goal in geometry, in your statement column, is to make an equation. In your reason column must be an explanation in words using abbreviation forms for why you said the statement on the left-hand side. Now, some people do prefer to make columns where you put statement and a reason. Okay, if you look at the drawing here, we've got parallel lines. We've got the X, which could represent vertically opposite angles, and we've got straight lines, and we've got angles in a triangle. So remember what I said to you. Your goal is to make sure that you only have one unknown letter in the equation in order to solve for it. So if you look at my starting point, you always start where there are values. So here you've got a 60 degree and 80 degrees, and your first letter that you could find would be the X. So in making your statement, you will say, EF is a straight line. What do I know about angles on a straight line? They're supplementary, means they add up to 180 degrees. So you will write 60 degrees plus 80 degrees plus X equals to 180. Why are you making that statement? Because of angles on a straight line. Okay, add in your numbers, you will get 140 degrees here. Then to solve for X, you will take the 140 across. Remember to change your sign, and X will equal to 40 degrees. If you have color, add it into your drawing just to indicate to yourself that you did the calculation. So that is 40 degrees now. I'm going to move now on to my Y. What do you notice? That you actually have the X shape. And what do you know if it forms an X shape? That these two angles here are vertically opposite to each other. So in your statement column, you will write that Y equals to 80 degrees, and your reason would be vertically opposite angles. Okay, you don't need to write vertically opposite angles equal, because we know that by that statement. Okay, so this is now 80 degrees. Now my goal would be to find either A or Z. Think about it for a minute. But if you look at the analysis here, you must ask yourself, why did they give me parallel lines? Nothing in geometry is not substantiated. So if you look at this drawing here, do you notice that you can form the F shape? And my arms are parallel. Remember, the arms have to be parallel for you to use corresponding angles. And then this angle will equal to that one there. So in your statement column, you're going to say angle X, which is equal to angle Z, which is equal to 40 degrees. Why are you making that statement? Because my corresponding angles are equal, because EF is parallel to BC. Okay, moving back onto the drawing, you put that answer in. So this is 40 degrees. Now the only letter that's missing is the letter A. And you're going to work in the triangle, because you have 3 angles, 2 you know, and A is the only letter you don't know. So in your setting out, you will say little a plus your 80 degrees plus your 40 degrees equals to 180. Why are you making that statement? Because of some angles of a triangle. Again, you add your letters, your numbers. This becomes 120. To get the letter alone, you take 120 across, change its sign, and A will equal to 60 degrees. Okay, let's continue now to the next figure. Figure 3. If you look at figure 3, again you've got parallel lines. You all know that this square here implies that this angle is 90 degrees, and our goal is to find x and y. Remember what I said to you? Your starting point is where there are numbers. So here I've got a 60, here I've got a 90. So this will be my starting point. So you will write in your equation your statement column, your reason column. You will say O1 plus 90 degrees plus 60 degrees equals to 180 degrees. Why are you making that statement? Because of angles on a straight line. The more you practice geometry, grade 8s and 9s, the more you will start to become or realize that geometry is repetitive, and there are certain concepts that we teach in grade 8 and 9 that is vital for your future maths. O1, add your numbers together, which makes it 150 degrees. Okay, as you notice, I took the 150 across, change its sign, and my O1 is 30. Go to your drawing, use a different color, add in the 30 degrees there. Okay, now my goal is to find x or y first. It doesn't matter to me which order you do it in. If you notice, from the 30 degrees, I can identify the Z shape. Why can I do that? Because I've got arrows. What do arrows symbolize? The fact that the arms are parallel. So you will tell me that x equals to O1, which equals to 30 degrees. Why am I making that statement? Because alternate angles are equal, because AB is parallel to CD. You must write both of these when you're using alternate, corresponding, or co-interior. Okay, now we move on to the letter Y. Remember, even if the arrow is there, it implies that the whole line is parallel to that line. So when you are actually finding the letter Y, you now notice that you've got the C shape. Remember, it is either a C or a U shape that you're working with. So in your statement column, you're going to say 60 degrees plus Y equals to 180 degrees. Why are you making that statement? Because my co-interior angles add up to 180, and of course you will mention the parallel lines again. Take your 60 across, and you land up with Y equals to 120. I'm now jumping to figure 10, just to do a little bit of variety of the questions. If you look at figure 10 now, you will notice that I've got y plus 40, 3y minus 20, 2x plus 10 and 50. So now we have more than just values. So that means you're going to have to be very careful when you make your equations. Do not exclude anything. Don't add anything as yet. So when I'm trying to find the letter y, don't bring in x with the letter y. You don't want to solve for two letters at the same time in a geometry sum. You only want to solve for one letter at a time. So let's start with the letter x. What do you notice? That these two arms are parallel. What of the from FUNXY can you use? And you should notice that you have the F shape. And this angle is equal to that angle. So in making your statement, you will say 50 degrees equals to 2x plus 10. Your reason will be corresponding angles, because AB is parallel. I assume this must have been a C, to CE. Then to solve for the letter, you must bring the like terms together. So I'm going to bring the 10 across the equal sign, and you will land up with 50 minus 10. You divide by 2 because it's a coefficient, and you will land up with 20 degrees. If you now want to know, well, it will be 50 degrees anyway. Let's move on to the next letter. The next letter is the letter Y. What can I use to find the letter Y? And you should notice that you can form the Z. Don't try and tell me that 2x plus 10 plus that plus this angle, and you could label it C1, adds up to 180 degrees. There's just too many unknown letters. You don't know the value of x. Well, you did find it, but you don't know the value of y, and you don't know the value of C1. Remember my first initial statement. When you make a geometry equation, you may only solve for one letter at a time. And I cannot solve for C1 and y at the same time. Okay, so I've got to make an equation where I only have one letter. And if you look at the Z that I've indicated, this angle's got a y, that angle's got a y. So I only have one letter to worry about. Okay, so in your setting out now, you will say that y plus 40 equals to 3y minus 20. Why am I making that statement? Alternate angles equal, because AB is parallel to CE. Now your goal is to bring your like terms together. So if I take y to this side, or I can take 3y to that side, it really doesn't make a difference. But remember, when you cross the equal sign, it changes its value from positive to negative and negative to positive. You then add your like terms. Y minus 3y is negative 2y. Negative 20 minus 40 is negative 60. To get y on its own, you divide by the coefficient of negative 2, and y would equal to 30 degrees. And if you are curious as to the actual size of these angles, because they're equal, it doesn't matter which one you pick. So if I pick the y plus 40, which is angle A, you've just found out that y is 30. So 30 plus 40 would make the angles 70 degrees. And that grade 8s and 9s is the three sums I've actually worked out for you. I will post the rest of the solutions without a video, but if you would like more of an explanation, please just let me know. Thanks, grade 8s and 9s. Keep safe.